Hi, I'm Louise Cutting from Cutting Line Designs. I want to show you about a forward shoulder adjustment. Do you need one? How can you tell? Well, for starters, does your garment that buttons down the front always fall backwards? You're always pulling it forward at the neck edge. That's one telltale sign. Another is put a t-shirt on, look at yourself sideways in a mirror. Look at your shoulder seam. Does it start going back? That means your shoulder ball is forward and your garment can't catch it. So let's change the pattern. This is one alteration you need to do first before you do other alterations on your pattern. Okay, the forward shoulder adjustment. Easy to do, but it has to be done first before you do anything else as far as pattern adjustment. Now, multi-size patterns do not have stitching lines showing on them. So the first thing you want to do is draw a 5/8 of an inch seam away from your cutting line. Normally 5/8 of an inch will alter the pattern so that it brings the shoulder seam forward. So this little section right in here would be cut off. It's going to be added to the back. Here is the seam allowance cut off. Now we're still going to have our seam allowance. We're just rotating that seam forward. Here's that same seam in the blue added to the back. That has rotated your shoulder seam forward. This is generally where most patterns instructions tell you to stop and then move something on the shoulder seam of the sleeve. What you want to do is actually rotate the sleeve in the arm's eye. You cut off the front of the shoulder in the garment, you added it to the back. You cut off the front of the underarm seam. That's the -5/8, and you're going to add it to the back. This is going to be cut off. Don't use this piece. It's too difficult to transfer it to the back. It's cut off the front. It's added to the back. This way, this is now going to rotate this whole sleeve forward within the arm's eye. Don't worry about your notches. They're not going to match, but this little top notch will now, because you've moved the sleeve forward, that will catch the shoulder seam. There is another alteration. What will happen, there are some people, they start out just fine at the neck edge, but then their sleeve rotates forward. So what we want to do is actually cut this rather long pizza pie shape, starting with nothing, and will be 5/8 of an inch by the time we get to the shoulder. This little section is going to be cut off, and that little section, here it is with the new seam line, that little section is added to the back. The sleeve alteration is done exactly the same. You cut it off the front of the underarm of the sleeve seam, and you're adding it to the back. It rotates that whole sleeve forward, catches the ball of your shoulder, and your garment stays on you and not fall backwards.